Guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we'll be building this awesome weather application which is built for Android as well as iOS. As you can see in front of me there is one Android emulator as well as we have one iOS emulator. So both are having same code and same flow. So let's get started. So as you can see, this is first screen and this is the first screen for the iOS. So the moment I'm clicking on this get started button, so it will show the weather. Currently I'm at Pune, so it is showing the weather for Pune location, and if I click on this, so it is also showing location for Pune. So as you can see in front of me, both are showing the correct data. Today is 31st March, so it is showing that it feels like humidity, pressure, and the next day's forecast for 31st March for April, 2nd April, 3rd April and 4th April. So to use and to make this application, you have to use OpenWeather API, which shows you the real-time weather data and weather forecast. So if I have to change my location, I'll have to click on this and let's type. So for now I'm typing here a city, so let's type London. So it will show you the searches and search result. So if I click on London GP, so let's click on it, it should show you the weather location for that location and the weather forecast for the next days. And if I click on here for, let's say, Mumbai, so it should show me the Mumbai, and let's click on this and it is showing the weather location and weather for Mumbai and the next forecast for the particular location. And yeah, so we will be building this application from scratch. So guys, please keep watching this video. You will learn a lot in this video and it can be a great project for your portfolio. So please like this video, share this video, and please comment down your thoughts on this. So let's get started. As you can see, I have this onboarding screen.tsx file as well as I have this onboarding style.tsx file, which is I have created right now. And you have to create this navigator folder, which is, if you have watched my previous series, I have already shown that how to create this navigation folders. So there is route for onboarding screen and home screen. There are some utilities which are to dispatch some actions or to go to a particular screen or to navigate to somewhere. And we have this navigation styles, which is you can see right now over here. I have given the assets link in the description. You can download all the assets from there, so you will get all these PNG files from that particular link. So you have to create the assets folder and add the images into there, and as well as you have to add the index.ts file for the path to that particular assets. Also I have some created components. If you have watched my previous series, I have already told you how to create a bottom sheet component in the same way which I have created in my previous playlist, and as well as the button component, how to create the button component. You can create the button component from that videos, as well as you can see and pause this video and write this component from scratch. As well as I have this input component. As you can see, it is the same input component from the previous playlist, but there is only new two components I have introduced in this video, which is this forecast component, which will render the forecast card, and it has some get icon function which renders basically on the numbers which I have been given to this function. And as well as it has some styles to this forecast component, and as well as we have this weather component. If you can see, it's a small basic component which renders the icon, and it has some margin and styles and label and text. So we also have the styles to this particular component. We have not added the styles to this card component as we were not needed to add this. So let's get started. Now in this video I'm going to create these screens, which are two screens, as well as I'm going to write one service. So you will learn a lot in this video, so be ready with your code and make one GitHub repo for this particular video, and let's get started. So, and let me tell you that what are the packages that I'm going to use in this video. So I'm using React Navigation Native, I'm using Axios, I'm using Lodash, I'm using Movement, and then I'm using hero icons instead of React Native vector icons. We are going with this icon, and we have React Native linear gradient, as well as we have the, as usual, safe area context, and yeah, React Native SVG as well. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this into a linear gradient. So import it from React Native, yeah, like this, and also add some colors. So let me show you that as well. We have this utils directory. Inside it we have this particular get weather data at a particular time, and as well as we have some UI utils. And let me tell you that colors file how it is looking. So these are the colors that you have to use in this particular video. So let's get started. So in this you have to give colors. The colors is going to be the array. So let's import colors from sky blue and colors from light blue, like this. And after that you have to add the style, not the start but style. So it will have one style. So let's add styles dot container. So let's do one thing. So we are getting one error. So let's see what is that. So let's refresh this. So I have added the styles over here. As you can see, the container with a flex one, and as well as I have added that container style to this linear gradient component. So let's add another things. Let's import the image, and inside this image let's add the source. So the source is going to be, so let's add the assets first. Import the asset. Let's destruct the asset from assets. So it's going to be clear sun, another will be a cloud, another one will be rings. So the first source which will be rings, let me add it, and let's copy it and paste it thrice. So another asset should be over here, it should be clear sun, another will be a cloud. Okay, so let's add the styles for it. So the styles is going to be styles dot rings. Let's copy it, paste it, copy it, paste it. So for this I'm going to name it sun, and for this I am going to name it cloud. So let's save it and add the styles for it. So let's add the sun style. So it should be a height should be a scale of 160, and let's add the width. So it's a scale of 60. Let's add the position, it should be absolute. Let's add the left, it should be 0. Let's add the top, it should be 45. Let's save the file. So as you can see, the sun is looking over here. So let's add another thing, which is rings. Let's give it a height of at least 80%, width 100%. Let's add position and right. Let's give a -30 and top. So yeah, it's looking good. So also add the styles for the cloud. So let's add for the cloud. So height, let's give it around 350. Width, let's give it 500. Position should be absolute. Let's give a bottom at least 20%. So it's looking kind of good. So let's do one thing. As you can see, this image is getting cut and this cloud is getting cut. So we do not want that. So let's add one property over here, which is resize mode contain. So let's copy it and paste it for all three images. So let's copy and paste it and then save. So as you can see, now it's looking good, right? So let's add another things, which is a view, and let's give a style to it. The style will be styles dot content. Okay, so all the content which I am going to write will be inside this. So let's add flex 0. Let's add 42, and let's add the padding horizontal. Let's give it 18, and then justify content. Let's give it space between, and then padding bottom. So padding bottom, so it will be scale of 28. Let's save the file. And now over here what you have to do, let's add one view, not view. So let's add the VIEW. So let's add it, and over here let's add one thing, which is text. So all the text which we are going to use, so we'll be writing all the text over here. So let's write never get caught in the rain again. Okay, let's add the styles to this particular text. So add it, styles. So style should be, let's name it title, and add another title. So I'm going to copy this. So it is not going to be the title, so it will be a normal information text. So let's change the text, and this text will be stay ahead of the weather with our accurate forecast. So let's save this and let's copy this particular title. And let me tell you, I have also added the fonts. So let me tell you where is the fonts. So if you can open up this typography, we are using this Rubik fonts. So you will get this font from Google. So you have to download it and add it into your Android folder. So let's add over here title, title, and the title will be font family. So it will be typography dot medium, and another thing which is font size. So let's add font size dot 16 pixel, and another thing which is colors will be gray. So let's add the style for text will be font family, and it will be a typography dot medium, and font size, so font size will be font size dot 16 pixel, and color will be color dot gray. So let's save the file and let's save this, as well as let's try and give it at least 30 pixel. So yeah, it's looking good, but let's give 40. So yeah, it's looking good now. So this is 16, this is gray, and this should be medium, and this should be a medium font as well. So let's add another component, and that component will be a button component. So let me tell you that button component should be over here under this particular view, okay, like below that particular view, not under this view. Okay, so let me minimize this and let's add the component. So it will be button component. So let me close the bracket. Let's write the text for it. So text will be get started, and let me write the on press event. So we have to like navigate to that particular screen. I'm going to call the navigate, and let's type over here home screen. So yeah, the onboarding screen is now completed, as you can see over here. So the moment I click on this, it should show me one error, which is the action navigate with payload home screen was not handled by any navigator. Do you have any screen name called as home screen? So right now we do not have any kind of screen which the name is home screen. So let me create one file over here. So let's add one folder which will be a simple home. Okay, inside that home we are going to have home.props.ts. Another thing, we are going to have home.screen.tsx. Another thing which we will going to have home.styles.ts. Okay, over here what we are going to do, I'm going to copy the styles and I'm going to paste it into the home style.ts, and I do not need the styles which we had written. So I only need this syntax. So let's write RNFE, which is home, HOME screen. Okay, a simple home screen. Now let's add it to the app navigator. So come over here, copy this whole thing, and let's add over here which is home screen, and copy this and paste it over here. Yeah, let's go. So let's start it. So it is going to the home screen. So now let me open up the styles so you all people can see it what I am going to write over here. So as you can see, this is the home screen component. Now we do not need this. So let's add one component which is view. So let's add the styles, and the styles not from there. So let's import the styles. Const styles is equal to create style from home styles. So let's add the styles and let's name it a container, and let's give the styles to this particular container, and let's add flex1 and save the file. So under this home like view component, we are going to have one component which is linear gradient from React Native linear gradient, and over here I'm going to add the colors to this linear gradient. So colors will be colors.home.primary, and let's give a comma, colors.home.secondary, and after that let's add the style. So styles will be style sheet, and this particular component is going to be an absolute. So I'm going to write over here style sheet dot absolute fill. So let's add another thing which is pointer events. I'm going to write over here which is box none. Okay, so after that let's add another child components. So let's add image from React Native, and over here I'm going to import some asset. So let's add those assets. So first let's destruct the asset which will be a sun component. So let's add that. So let me add that. So it should be a half sun. So let's add that. So let's give a source half sun, and it will be a resize mode contain, and then it will be having a style. So style will be styles dot sun. So let's add the style for that sun component. So let's add the sun. So sun will be a position absolute because it is going to be in the background, so it is absolute. So let's add the height. So height will be a scale of, let's add 620, and as well as the width for it. So width will be at least 150. So let me add 150, and let's give a comma. As well as top will be a 5%. Yeah, like this. Let's save the file, and after this we are going to have one thing which is container. So let's add that. So this will be our content, so I'm going to write the name for it, which will be a content. Okay, so content will contain every content which we are writing. So it will have padding horizontal, which will be same for everyone. So let me add that 18, as well as let's add the flex one. So it should contain like it should take whole height. So let's add it, and over here I'm going to add one header component. So let's add that. So let's write a style. So style will be styles dot header. Okay, so come over here and write your header, and over here I'm going to write the padding horizontal like this, and it will be also a scale of 18, and it will have flex direction row, it will have align item which will be center, it will be having a justify content space between. Yeah, like this. And over here we are going to have some icons as well, but before that let's add one view. So let's add that view and add text. Text will be a simple hello with exclamatory mark, and let's add one style over here. So style will be styles dot header text, and let's come over here and let's name header text. Header text will be a font size of 15 pixel, and as well as it will have colors. Colors will be a gray, and font family, let's add font family will be a typography of semi bold. So let's save the file. As well as over here we are going to have one text, and text will be a date. Okay, so let me add the style first. So let's add the style, styles dot header date. So I'm going to add the date later, so let's add a temporary date. Let me add 31st March. Okay, and let me add the styles header date. Okay, so come over here and let's add the header style. So open the braces and add the font size. Font size will be a 12 pixel, and another will be a color dot gray, and another thing will be a font family typography dot regular. Okay, so it should be a header date, not text. So like this, save it. Yeah, cool, right? Now let's minimize this particular inside this header, and after that we are going to have one icon, and that will be a search icon. So let's add that. Let me add one pressable, not this icon. Let me add one pressable from React Native. Yeah, let's add it, and let's add the styles to it. So let's add the style will be let me add the style. So style will be hamburger. Okay, so yeah, I have imported the icons from React Native hero icon solid. So let's add that. So icons is going to be icons dot magnifying glass. So I'm going to import this particular icon, as you can see on the second place. So let's add that. So let me click it, and let's type and close this. So let's add it. So let's give a color. Color will be colors dot gray light, and as well as it will have one size. So size I'm going to give it a 24, and yeah, that's it. So let's save it. So it should show you this this icon, which is search icon. So it's called magnifying glass in this hero icons. So let's add one thing, which is on press event. So let me make it a blank on press event. So yeah, after this what we are going to do, let's close the header component. So let's minimize this, and yeah, now we are good to go. Let's write the style for the main thing, which is a view. Let's add a name. Let's give it a style. Styles will be styles dot main. Yeah, like this. And let me add this main over here. Let's add flex one. Yeah, like this. So now inside the main we are going to have one view, and inside that view let's add the style. So that style will be a temperature container, like this. So let's add it. So let's give a style. All the items inside it's going to be a center, and inside it I'm going to have one text, and that text will be weather name. So let's suppose I'm going to give a dummy name. So let's add it dummy. Let's add one style. So styles will be a city text. Okay, so let's add the style for that city text. So it will be a font size. Font size will be a font size dot 18, and color, so color will be a colors dot gray, and font family, so I'm going to give a font family of medium, and line height, so it should be as 20. So let's save the file, and instead of dummy, let's do one thing. Let's add London so we can recognize it, and as well as I'm going to copy this till bottom 3 times. So for this it's going to be a temperature text, so London's temperature text. So I'm going to add, let's add a 33. I'm going to copy one text which is degrees Celsius, so let me add that. So yeah, and another text which will be a temperature info, temp info. I'm going to write it like this. Let's give a style to this particular temperature text, and this will be color, so colors will be colors dot black, yeah, like this, and add font size. So font size will be font size dot 50, and font family, which will be a font, which will be a typography of medium. So line height will be a scale of, let me add it, a 60. Yeah, that's it. Let's add the temperature info. So temp info, let me open the curly brace and add the font size. The font size is going to be a 14 pixel. After that we will have one color, and color will be colors dot gray, as well as we'll have font family, and it will be a typography of regular. Yeah, that's it. And now what we have to do, we have to close this particular component over here. If you can see, let me minimize this, and after that we have to render some margin bottom inside this main view. So let's add that render margin bottom and render it at least 24, and let's add another view which will be a view will be wrapping to the linear gradient, so it will be a pointers event. I am adding one none, and let's add that linear gradient. So let me import it, linear gradient, like this, and we will have over here a pointers event, and which will be a none, as well as we'll also have one styles. Let me add it on this line. Yeah, let's add style, which is styles dot br24. So I'm going to add this br24 style, so let me add that, which will be a border radius. So let me add it scale of 24. So that's why I renamed it to the border radius 24. Instead of start, we are going to have it a style. So yeah, that's it. And after that, the second thing, which is the colors. So let's add that colors dot card dot primary, as well as colors dot card dot secondary. Yeah, let's write it like this, and we need children inside it, right? So let's add that particular children. So children will be a style, and that style will be card container, like this. Okay, add that particular card container over here. Add a padding vertical. Let me give the 2 dots so it do not do anything. So let's add padding vertical, so add it 12. Add the padding horizontal, add it over here 18. Add flex direction, it should be a row. Add justify content, which will be a space between. So yeah, like this. So as you can see, which we are seeing over here, a glass effect of a background card. So another thing, I'm going to add one weather card, which I showed at the beginning of the video. So inside this weather card, I'm going to add one label, which will be a fields like, and the value of it, I'm going to write a dummy value, because we are going to have a good quality data which will be coming from backend. So let me copy this 3 times, and it will be a humidity, or let me add it, and it will be a dummy. So another thing which we have, which is pressure. So yeah, it should look like this. So now after this, let me minimize this particular thing so that we do not get confused. So yeah, now under this particular thing, we have to render the margin. So let's render the margin bottom at least 20, and then we have to write one view, and inside that particular view let's add the styles. So styles will be card vertical, okay, like this. So let me add that card vertical styles. So it will be a padding vertical, a scale of 18. Another thing which will be a padding horizontal, a scale of 18, and as well as border radius, which will be a scale of 24, as well as it should have flex 1, and position, which will be an relative, and as well as overflow. Let's add hidden, not has in but hidden, like this. Now save the file. Yeah, so now inside this particular view I'm going to have another linear gradient, so I'm not going to write it again. So let's just copy this particular thing and let's minimize it again and paste it over here, and let's close the bracket of it. So now this time I'm going to have the linear gradient and absolute. So we are going to make it a self-closing. So let's make one style, which is, instead of BR20 I'm going to have style sheet, and let's make it absolute fill. So yeah, as you can see, we are having this particular component similar to like this with a glass kind of effect. And let's add another thing. So it will be a text, and text will be a next, so next days. Okay, so let's add the title for it. So styles will be daily, L capital. Let's add it label. Okay, so let's add the label for that. So daily label will be color is equal to colors dot label. Font size, which will be a font size dot 12 pixel, and font family, which will be a typography dot regular. Another thing will be a line height, and it will be a scale of 14. So yeah, as you can see, do we have it again? No. So yeah, it's looking good. Now the next thing which we have to write one thing, which is flat list. So let's add the styles to that particular flat list. So let's add let's add flat list from React Native, and let's add one property to it, which is show vertical scroll indicator. I'm going to write it false, as well as let's add the data. I have some data, so let's add one dummy data, okay, as of now only. So let's add one render item. So I'm going to have that item, okay, like this, and I'm going to render the component which I have. So let's write that component name, which is forecast card, okay, like this. This particular component accept two props. One is the cloud, so it will be a item dot clouds dot all, and let me add another label, which is the prop, and the prop will be item dot main dot temp, like this. Another prop will be a date prop, so I'm going to have date. So let's add dummy date for now. So let's add one dummy date, like this. So as you can see, our UI part is completed. Now what I want, the last thing which I have to do, which is the bottom sheet. The moment I click on this particular component, this particular thing, it should open up the bottom sheet, right? So let's add that bottom sheet. So let me close this. So I'm going to write bottom sheet from bottom sheet. So let me add the props for that bottom sheet. It will be a prop, which will be a visible. So visible, I'm right now writing a false, then set visible, so it should be a function. And after that I'm going to have another content inside it, so which will be a content, which will be a view. Let's add the style to that particular view. So style will be styles dot search container, and let's add the style to that search container over here, like this. Add the flex 0.6, add one border top right radius, it will be a scale of 30, because the moment I open the component, it should be a rounded from top right and top left. So let's add border top left radius, it will be a scale of 30, and as well as background color, let me add that, and background color will be a white. After that, let's add the padding top will be a 22, as well as I need the Z index, so let's write it 999 5 times, 9 5 times, and let's add another thing. Let's save the file, and over here I'm going to add one thing which will be an input component. So let's add that input component over here and add the value. So the value will be a search text. So as you can see over here, I have written the value as a search text. So let me show you what it is. I have added some few state from React, and to set the values from the API data, I have created this particular state with this interface which I am going to get from OpenWeather APIs and its data. So let's add the other props to this input particular component, and let me add one prop which will be let's add it on change text, and it will be a handle. So let's add handle search, and after that I'm going to have container style. So let's add styles dot input container. So let's add over here input container will have margin horizontal to the scale of 12. Okay, so I'm going to create the handle search later. So let's add another thing which is placeholder will be search and then 3 times dot. So yeah, like this. And also over here let's add render margin bottom. It will be a scale of 12. So it's showing one error, so let's comment this particular thing and come over here again. And now let's add another thing which is view, and it will be a style, and the style name will be styles dot search view. Over here I'm going to have one flat list from React Native and like this. So let's add one show vertical horizontal indicator which will be a false type, and another item will be a render item. So let's add it. And over here what I'm going to have one pressable component, and let's add another things. So let's give style first. So let's add styles dot search. I'm going to have style name which will be a search result, because this will be a search result, right? So let's add that search result. So let me add the styles to it. So SEARCH, yeah, like this, SEARCH. Yeah, so let's add padding horizontal. Yeah, so let's add 12 as well as padding vertical. So let's add scale of 12. Also flex direction will be a row type. Also the align items will be a center type, and justify content space between. So yeah, once we have added it, so let me copy this, paste it over here. So yeah, like this. So let's add the content inside it. So inside the content will be a text, and the text will be, let's suppose, a London. So I'm going to have the data later. So let's add the styles. So the styles will be search text. So let's copy this particular search text and come to the styles file, and over here let's add the search text. Font size will be, let's add font size dot 14 pixel, and font family which will be a typography dot let's give it a regular. Okay, after this what I'm going to have, I'm going to copy this particular text, and because to show the degree, suppose in this case 33, so let me add that. So the styles will be styles like this. Styles will be a search text, as well as it will be a styles dot search temperature. So let me add that search temperature for you. So let's add that. So only the difference between these two will be a font weight. I'm going to add a font family which will be a type of typography dot medium. So yeah, like this. So yeah, so there is one thing which is remaining, which is a search view. I have not added the styles for it. So let's add that search view. So it will be a margin horizontal. Let me add that. Margin horizontal will be a scale of 12, as well as border radius. It will be a border radius. Let me add that, a border radius. Okay, a scale of 4. So yeah, we are done with this particular bottom sheet component. So yeah, let's integrate the data now. So now we have to write the data integration part. So let's add one thing, add this service file, and over here I have added this index file which is base URL. I have added over here with the timeout and headers as a content type, which is application.json. After that I have written this whole weather.ts file which is basically 3 functions which gives us the weather data by the particular latitude and longitude which we are passing for particular location. So it should give us the weather, and this particular function it should give the forecast for that particular latitude and longitude. So over here you can see I am using the forecast, and here I am using weather. So the third function which I have written, which is the get city by search. So the moment I type London, it should show me the result related to the London city. Yeah, now after let's add the functions over here. Let's call those functions. So I'm going to write get weather, so it will be asynchronous like this. Let's call it, yeah, like this. So the moment this function gets called, I'm going to set the loading state which is true. So let's add the try catch block. I'm going to add the catch over here, so error like this, and let's open up the curly braces, and inside here I'm going to write the const data. The data will be of type weather data, and over here let's await the get weather by city like this. I'm going to pass the temporary like latitude, so the latitude will be this, and let's add another latitude which is 73.85, and let's add 67. So yeah, like this. So over here if I have the data, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the set loading, which will be a false, because the moment I get the data I need the loading to be false. So after that I'm going to call this set weather. So I'm going to set the data inside that particular state, and as well as I'm going to write another function. So let's add the catch block. So let's write console.log. Let's print the error, yeah, like this. So I'm going to copy and paste it over here to write the get forecast for a particular location. So let me add that. So it will be accepting two parameters. One will be a latitude, a type of number, another will be a type of number which is longitude. So here I'm going to set the set loading a true, and the data will be of type. So let me add the data which is forecast data. Okay, so it will be an array which we'll be getting from the particular function by calling this API, weather API. Okay, so here I'm going to pass this latitude and longitude as we are getting it from the function, and over here I'm going to write the condition. If I am getting the forecast data, so it should be set to the particular state. But before that I have written one function, because we are getting the forecast data for 8 times for one particular day. So each every new day, like today is 31st March, so for 1st April I'll be getting 8 data for like 3 hours of gap. So what I need only one particular data for one day to show over here. So what I'm doing, I'm going to call over here forecast list. So let's declare forecast list. I have written a function which is get weather by weather data at a time. So what this function basically do, it will return us the only object which matches the time which we are passing. So let's add forecast data. Let me write it forecast data dot list, and then I need for 17th. Okay, 17th time. So let's do one thing over here. Let's set the forecast. Okay, so forecast will be a forecast list. So yeah, like this, but the name of this function will be a get forecast, C capital, like this. And another function which we have to write, which will be a search city. So let me copy and paste it again like this. So I'm going to name this function to the search city, C capital, and over here I'm going to add one condition. So this particular function will return us the city, so all the cities which we are typing in the search model. So what I am going to do, text.length, if the text.length is less than or equal to 1, so I'm going to return nothing. Okay, so let's remove this particular code. So I do not need this set loading, because we do not need set loading over there. So let's rename this variable search data. So I'm going to call the search API, which is get city by search, and it will be not having the lat long, so it will have one text, a type of string. So it will accept that particular text over here. And the search data, I'm going to write one condition. If I get the search data accurately, so let me fit it to the search state. So that state is set search result search data. Yeah, like this. And as well as I am going to write over here debounce search, because CH, yeah, like this. I'm going to use callback, and inside it, let me tell you why I'm using debounce. So the moment I'm typing to that particular search field, so if I'm typing 5 keystroke at let's suppose at a 1 second I'm typing 3 text. So what I need, the moment user has typed all the text, after that a particular second I want to call the API. So I'm going to debounce the API calling over here. So let's add debounce from Lodash. So that's the reason we install the package. As well as you can write the custom debounce function, that is also fine. So let's add a text over here, and over here I'm going to set one timeout. So let me add that. So the timeout will be 800. Okay, so the timeout will be 800. So this is for the empty dependency for use callback. So yeah, over here we are going to write one function which will be handle search. If you remember, we have commented the code over here. Let me show you like this. So yeah, over here what we have to do, we will take one text as a string type, and over here we are going to set that text to the set search text over here like this, and over here we are going to call debounce search over here. Debounce search will pass this text over there. So yeah, the moment we have written this, let's do one thing. The moment we come to this particular screen, what we want to call this get weather API. So let's write the use effect hook, and I'm not going to pass any dependency as because we need it only call once. So get weather, after that we'll be searching after clicking on this search icon. So yeah, and this get forecast weather, what we want that it should be only called when we get the data from get weather. And over here I'm going to pass this like this, and let's add the chord, and chord I'm going to get the latitude from it, and after that let's add data and then chord, and over here I'm going to get the lon from it, which is longitude. Okay, so yeah, we have written the data part over here. Now what we have to do, we have to integrate it wherever we have used it. Okay, so let's do that. So now before that, let me tell you that we have used some dates. Okay, so let me tell you that where we have to write that date. Okay, so let's add date and then moment dot unix. We are getting the epoch dates from the backend. So let's add the weather dot dt. Okay, in this format, if it's having or null, so let's add it. The format will be ddd, and let's give a comma and dd and then mmm month. Okay, and also we are going to add one loading. So if it is loading, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to return, and let's add one view, and over here I'm going to style it styles dot loader. Okay, like this. So add activity indicator from React Native, and I'm going to give a color which will be colors dot home dot primary, so it matches, and as well as size will be scale of 30. So yeah, let's save the file, and over here you can see we are getting to see the loader. So let me add one thing. So let's give the style to this loader. So let's go over here, let's add a style loader. Loader will be a flex of 1, and then align items will be center, and justify content will be a center. So let's give a comma, yeah, like this. So now what we have to do for this particular time, let's make it false so we can integrate it properly. I'm going to make it a false like this. Okay, so yeah, let's open up these things. So now only a data integration part is remaining, so let's do that first. So inside it I have written this date variable, so let's add that, so we get the date of today. So let's add date, yeah, like this. Let's go over here, as you can see Monday 31st March over here, you can see it, right? And now the next part which we have to write, which is set show search. So make it true, so the moment we click on here we should see it, right? So yeah, we have not added the true function, that true variable, to the bottom sheet. The moment we add it over there we should see it, right? So after that what we have to write, open it, and instead of London add the data, let's add the weather weather dot name. Okay, and now instead of Celsius, so let's add over here weather dot main dot temperature, like this. And over here I'm not going to write the London, but let's add weather dot the 0th index of it, because the data is array type, and add the description. So you can see overcast cloud Pune. Okay, so now let's open up the another thing, which is this. Okay, so let's open up the this thing, and like over here let's add the values. So let's write the values. The values are weather dot main dot feels like. Okay, and then we have to also add this degree. So let's copy this Celsius. So in the quote I'm going to write C. Yeah, so as you can see over here it's showing, right? So let's add the value for humidity. Over here open up like this, and write the weather dot main dot humidity, and then plus I need to show it in the percentage. So let's add the pressure. So open up the braces, write over here weather dot main dot pressure, and let's add the plus, and then quote H P capital A, like this. So now we are done. We need to write this next date over here, if you can see. So let's add it over here. So instead of the data, let's add forecast, and now you can pass it item cloud all item main temp, and instead of date, what you have to do, write the moment dot unix, and then add the item dot dt, and then optional chaining with this, as well as add the format and add ddd comma, and then capital D, and then 3 times and M. Yeah, so now the moment I add over here forecast, you should see the result like this. Okay, so you can see that next day's temperature it's showing for April 2nd, April 3rd, and 4th, and 5th. So now the next part and the last part of this particular video, which we have to do, and it's the interesting one for search, right? So let's clear this terminal. Over here what I'm going to add, I'm going to add the show search, and set visible. Over here what I'm going to add, set show search, like this. And now what you have to do, in this particular flat list you have to add the data. So let's add data as a search result, like this. And inside this render item I'm going to have one item, and let's add it over here. So the item will be item dot name. Okay, and as well as I need to show the countries SYS. So let's add that item dot SYS, and then country. Okay, so let's add some space in between. Also I need to show the country's temperature in the search result. So for that I'm going to add item dot main dot temperature, as well as I need to show that degree Celsius. So let's see whether we can find it. So yeah, we have found it. So let's add that. So over here I'm going to have it. Let's the moment I click on this particular search icon and I type over here London, you should see the search results. So as you can see, but now there are some things. The moment I click on this particular result, I want to do some things. So let's do those things. The moment I click on this on press, I need to add over here set weather. So let's add the set weather. It will be having one item, and get forecast, I need to call the get forecast. So item will be having this chord, and then lat, also item dot chord, and it will be a longitude. So also I need to show the set show. I need to set this particular component to the false. So let's add that false. So yeah, like this. And now the moment I click on this, it should get invisible, and also update the results. So let's do London US. Yeah, so as you can see, we have made this complete project. So hope you enjoyed this video, and please do comment down below whatever your thoughts on about this, and please like, share, comment, subscribe my channel. Stay happy, stay safe, and till then, bye bye.